How's it going, folks? Over at a mate's place today, Terry, and he's going to give us a bit of a look at how his little sand filter works. For you folks who aren't familiar, sand filter is basically an all-in-one filter with different gradients of particles from sand all the way down to large rocks in the base. He's going to give us a little bit of a run through on how he cleans it out. Thank you very much for inviting us along, Terry. As you can see behind me, he also likes to grow a few weird things in his aquaponics like myself. So he's got some dragon fruit, and one actually flowered last night. And I might give you a quick walk through that while he's setting up the filter and just give you a bit of a gander at what he's got on the grow. We might as well start off with the dragon fruit. Terry said he started this off about a year ago.
There's 5 cuttings, 2 of the red flesh, 3 of the white flesh.
So that one came off last night, and you reckon this one will bloom tonight?
I reckon this one will bloom tomorrow night. It's about 2 days behind the other one.
And beside it, he's just got another little bed, DIY bed filled with rock, and a couple of early Brussels sprouts in there. He's got a nice little greenhouse covering here as well, made up from recycled bits and pieces, which is always great to see. Just on the other side of the dragon fruit here, we've got some, what did you call it? Peppermint stripe silver beet or chard. And down in here, we've got a little yellow shoulder ladybug. So that's always good to see them wandering around bits and pieces. These beds here, you know, you don't need to go clay. This river rock works fine for you.
Oh yeah, works really well. The only thing I found is the roots tend to block up between the rocks. So now the water just sits there and flows, but it's not.
It basically finds a path of least resistance.
Much, yeah.
And as always, when you have duckweed in a system, it always turns up in everywhere. Down here we have a couple of deep water culture rails. They're not NFT like a lot of people call this NFT. And as Terry pointed out, they're half filled with water, so they're more just like a deep culture rail, getting ready for the winter crops. So there's only a couple of basil left and some strawberries that have set runners. Last time I was here, it was absolutely chockers with plants, but they've been pulled out, given away and moved around. There's only so many strawberries and basil you can eat. Just here we've got a couple of buckets. These ones here are just fed by a 4mm dripper line. What sort of maintenance do you do on them, man?
Just occasionally, like once a week. Turn that off. It's just a case of undo that.
The threaded barbs, yep.
I got a threaded barb at the top. Then I just push some tie wire down through to unblock the bits of detritus
back into the main line.
Yep, that's caught up on it, and just do that back up
straight over. Oh wow, that's a neat little trick with a little zip.
And underneath, there's not a lot of roots in there at the moment, but the drain's about halfway up the bucket.
As you said, it was only put in last week.
Yeah, I've only been there a week.
You had a couple of cucumbers in these guys?
Yeah, I had one in each. Changed the lids for the different plants, so I had one plant in each, and they just grow up the whole thing.
What sort of yield did you get from them?
I was getting 2, maybe 3 cucumbers a day out of 2 plants.
That's all right. Yeah.
So I was
more than enough to keep the family happy.
Oh yeah. Got a crisper drawer in the fridge, and it was full.
What have you got growing on here?
So this is black rice. I've already harvested a lot of grain heads off this area. Come around this side, you can actually see these ones are ready for harvest. I can cut them off at the stem. These ones are still coming on, still maturing.
And you were saying now's pretty much when they start to die back?
Now's pretty much towards the end of the season, yeah. Like, I mean, if you look at the plants on the other side of the bed, you can see they're all starting to die back. That's normally when they cut them all off at the ground and throw them away.
And as you were showing me before on the other side, there's a load of fresh shoots coming up out of the bases of these.
Yes.
And every one of these little pots just had one seed put in it.
Correct, one seedling.
So pretty much all clumps, like a lemongrass almost.
Yep.
So that's one of the grains there. And all, obviously, all in a floating raft bed?
Yes, all in a floating raft.
Oh my God, Father. Wow. That is one mess of roots, folks. Well, there you go. And of course, it will be trapping a fair bit of solids and creating its own.
Oh yeah.
Wow, and there's the duckweed. So that's the amount of water you're feeding the bed with. Normally they say